Good evening. Tonight I'll be discussing or answering questions for an article about discrimination against pregnant women. Why are women with children more highly scrutinized at work than women without children? Okay, so I would think that, judging from the book that we read, it states that women are are known for their supportive roles and that the importance of their family eclipses the importance of their job. So what I feel is that women who have children, their main focus, because of stereotypes, would be that their focus is on the home and the family. And now that they have children, their primary focus is not on work anymore. So they are not as flexible as they once were. For example, if you wanted to have an employee cover different shifts or be really flexible in that sense, stay later than they should, or bring work home perhaps, or go on a company retreat or some sort of like a work outing, the chances that they would be able to, if they have children at home, would be less than the person who is free of those sort of responsibilities, which would be like, it would just, I feel that those would be the reasons why you would see an issue in the workplace for women, because again, the book highlighted the situation of families being the number one importance in a woman's life. Therefore, they can't do both. They can't both be a professional and focused, career-driven woman and a mother. So they have to choose between one or the other. And according to many, it would be the family or the children. Do I see this as a trend that will increase, decrease, or stay the same in the next 10 years? Well, in the next 10 years, there's a lot of focus on that. With last week with the males being wanting to stay home and wanting the demands of the job to not be so much so that they can spend more time with the families. I feel that it's a trend that's going to decrease. How much is still up for debate, I would think. But I do feel that many employers are finding ways to make it so you're able to have a career and family and not be penalized. When should a pregnant woman not be allowed to work at their job any longer? That's a tricky question. I worked up until a week before I was due to give birth, and that was only because I had vacation days and I wanted to set up the nursery and to kind of take a break before the baby came. But honestly, I was scheduled on my due date from 8 to 6. So, I feel like unless it's medically, unless it's a medical situation where you have doctor orders to have bed rest, or if you are no longer able to perform specific duties, like if you're a UPS driver and you're supposed to carry heavy boxes and you no longer can. So medically, I feel like that would be when they should not be allowed to work anymore if it's dangerous for her and the fetus or the baby. Yeah, so that's how I feel. I know there might be some things that you can't do as well as you could, but usually it's a physical thing more than I know pregnancy brain is a thing, but I feel like as long as she feels up to the challenge, and she's physically okay and mentally okay, and feeling like she's able to contribute a lot of her attention to the job, then I don't see why there should be any reason for a woman not to work at her job any longer unless she decides. So that would be my answer to that. Why is it so challenging for women to prove they experience discrimination in the workplace? Well, according to the article, everything's circumstantial unless you have like a specific paper trail. It would be hard to pinpoint specific aspects where you are being discriminated against. So I suppose unless you're sitting there filing complaint after complaint and documenting it or videotaping it, which I mean, I guess we do have cell phones, so I suppose it would be more frequent, but you'd fear retribution, if you're threatening or telling them that they're mistreating you or doing that, you could be afraid of losing your job and having them, discredit your professional, you've got how much time at a job, and if they, if you're afraid that they're going to give you a bad review for, a job that you're trying to get eventually, that might prevent you from trying to cause any issues or cause any trouble. So you might not want to have it documented or have a paper trail that is necessary to prove that the discriminations occurred. And this ties with the book as far as, what we're reading about the sexism. I feel like the benevolent sexism would be that, especially when going to the first question, when you're the positive traits of a woman being, loving and compassionate and all those things that make a woman a great supportive partner. When you reverse those traits and put them into the workplace, those are the things that work against you. Like I said, because you're the caregiver for the children, I feel that it's a benevolent sexism occurring right there. And other than that, those are pretty much the questions. I feel lucky that where I work, I've never had to experience that. I worked up until I was ready to leave. I had 4 months maternity leave paid, and my job was secure so long as I did my job accordingly, or satisfactory. And so I'm grateful that I've never had to experience what many women in this article experienced when it came time to, work, have your baby, take care of your baby, and then come back to work. I'm grateful to have not experienced the things that they experienced in the article. I suppose that my job isn't as demanding as some roles could be, like a law office. Again, I know I've mentioned this before, but Sex and the City, the one character is a lawyer, and she has a child, and they start pulling her off like big cases, or they would stop asking her to be on certain cases because they didn't feel that she would be able to focus and put forth as much time as others that did not have children at home. So, like I said, those are the kind of things that I put together to, from the book here and into the questions that we were asked this week. There was also the feminine apologetic, where you're supposed to like counterbalance your performances of the feminine and masculine, and I feel like that fails when you become pregnant, because that is a feminine thing. Being pregnant, having a baby, and taking care of your kids, so your masculine counterpart kind of suffers, and that would be another thing that you could probably pull into the issue of pregnancy and childbirth in the workplace. Thank you very much. Have a good day or night.